Hi guys, and welcome back to Pass and Move. For today's episode, we've got a great game for you against Arsenal. We might do a double header where we play Chelsea as well, but it really depends. If you missed out on the last episode, you should definitely check it out. It was a poor performance, really. I think that was a 3-2 loss against Manchester City, where we lost in the 92nd minute, basically. I feel like we've been doing poorly in all of the live comms, but otherwise we've been doing decently. Not amazing, but decent. What followed that was this 3-0 win against Stoke. Eric Bailly, Marshall and Carrick managing to perform well in the second half because the first wasn't too great. But win's a win and we climbed up the table as a result. The game against Burnley, it was decent. It was over 2 legs we managed to beat them, but we did lose in the second leg and we only managed to go through based on penalties, so that wasn't too pleasing. It shouldn't have been that easy. Basically, we should have held on to our lead, and we were winning. We managed to extend the lead in the first through a Juan Mata penalty, but unfortunately that didn't work out. This City game, I'm not too disappointed despite the result. We did lose 2-1, but really, let me see if I can show you the lineups for the team. But really just incredible lineups by both teams because of the international fixtures. They really scheduled this fixture in a really poor manner because both teams had to field several youngsters because half if not 3/4 of both of our teams were missing because they were on international duty and still returning. Made absolutely no sense to play an FA Cup 6th round game and it was so poorly planned it just didn't make any sense to play it. But we did have to play, and no complaints. We were the much better team, but unfortunately we didn't manage to win. And what mattered for me was the Premier League, so I wasn't too disappointed about the loss, even though I would have liked to have won it 3 times in a row. But we move on. So there was a 5-1 win against Bournemouth. Great game from all my players, managing to get 4 different scorers, so that's great. Rashford with the brace. Everton was a nice little win as well. Anthony Marshall scoring right on the break, I think, as soon as it was about half time. The loss against Tottenham was disappointing. I was hoping to go all the way this time in the Euro Cup. We didn't win it last season. We lost in the final against West Ham, and if I'm not mistaken, we were the better team, but unfortunately, yeah, we were the better team, and I'm guessing the first leg was the same. But unfortunately, we have a bit of an issue with clinical finishing. We did beat West Brom though, in between sandwiched in between the Euro Cups, and nice little goals from my team. I think the Paul Pogba goal, far as I remember, was a pretty good goal. So let's see if we can have a look here. But yeah, if you win 4-0, can't really complain. For me, the perfect win is a 3-0 win where you've scored, obviously 3 goals. But when you score 2, there's still a bit of uncertainty. When you score 3, you're ensured the win no matter what. And then if you keep the clean sheet, that's a perfect result. So 3-0, and we managed to beat the perfect win, which is 4-0. We'll get a chance to see the Paul Pogba goal here. I think Mata just lays it off to Pogba and he just blasts it in. Really, and that's standard Paul Pogba, isn't it? He's got great long shots. It's great to have him on the team, and what followed that though was a disappointing loss to Newcastle. It was a terrible performance by my players, and it was just really disappointing in the sense that we could have caught up to Arsenal. And if I show you the Premier League table, which I will do now, we've pretty much handed the title over to Arsenal. We didn't really stand much of a chance before, but we could have made it uncomfortable for them, but now it's just pretty much comfortable for them. West Ham have already played their game in hand and they're still 5 points away, so Arsenal pretty much going to hold on to the title. I expect them to do it anyways. If we do win today though, we do climb above Chelsea, who played their game ahead of us. City also played their game, so if we lose today, it's not the end of the world, but really we should be aiming to at least get into 2nd spot, if not 3rd. But yeah, the way that this season's gone has been a little bit disappointing compared to last season, which was a bit more successful. But I feel like we've been playing much better overall, so I can't complain too much. Let me show you just a couple of quick stats. If we see the team detailed, I think we have the best possession in the league. We've scored the 2nd most amount of goals, right behind Arsenal with just 9 goals difference. And we've also conceded the least amount of goals, if I'm not mistaken. So we're really close to being a top team in England, statistically anyways. But the point is that we need to convert some of our losses into wins rather, and there are quite a couple of disappointing losses. Let me see if I can have a quick look. So we lost 9 times this season, which we really can't afford if we want to be champions. As I mentioned in the beginning of the season, as champions you can only afford to lose 4 to 5 times, and if you can see Arsenal's here, their losses aren't too bad. It's against, you know, most of them are top teams. Only loss is against Aston Villa, which seems like a crazy game anyways, but ours are just really proper games that we shouldn't be losing. You can excuse the City game, the Liverpool game, and even the Chelsea and Arsenal. Other than that, we should have been beating any of the other teams here. And it's made me reconsider my tactics a little bit. I haven't changed anything yet, but playing with 3 playmakers seems to be a bit of a dangerous move, so I was considering playing and switching up the tactics next season. The plan was, because Michael Carrick is retiring this season, at the end of the season basically, he is a deep line playmaker who's great, so I was going to bring in Verratti, who's an incredible playmaker, or deep line playmaker, and he's actually rated as world class according to my scouts. So I was going to bring him, so Verratti, Pogba and Mata midfield would have been incredible. But yeah, let me know in the comments section. What I was going to do is essentially change the deep line playmaker role to support here and just become a bit more defensive by playing as a centre midfielder defend, and that way we're holding the midfield a little bit better here, and we won't be conceding so many goals from the left, which seems to be a bit of an issue if I just quickly show you here. And again, for some reason it's gone. It used to show in the weaknesses that we've conceded a lot of goals from the left side. But yeah, I think the main issue with us losing games is that my team doesn't really have a lot of aggression or leadership. Also, we're kind of poor in the tackling department, so that's kind of disappointing. If we had a bit more of those, which eventually we will do, because most of these players are quite young, I'm bringing in quite a young team. Let me see if I can show you that here. Comparison, is it facts? It's the average age is 27, but that's mostly because of Carrick and Ibrahimovic, and both will be leaving about at the end of the season, so that's going to significantly lower our squad age. Our first team 11 is quite young. We've got Mario Fernandes, Chris Smalling, Bailly, Luke Shaw, Blind, Pogba, Mkhitaryan, Mata, Rashford and Marshall. And really the oldest person on the team is Mata, and even then he's not really that old. He's only 29, I think. So yeah, we're going to have a bit of a young team, so let me know about those tactics, but we're just going to carry on this season as is. We've done quite well, so I don't think there's a necessary need to switch up the tactics. It's more about bringing in good personnel. But yeah, let's just get into today's game. City are going to be playing West Ham. We do need to beat Arsenal and make it a little bit uncomfortable for them in terms of their title chase. We could, it would be quite, if we let West Ham win the title, that wouldn't be as bad as letting Arsenal win the title. But West Ham, have been playing incredible so far this season. They have 70 points, so they're 6 points ahead of us. They did play a game in hand, but still, fair play to them for doing so well. But yeah, Arsenal are just really powerful in this, what do you call it, in this game basically, in the FM17, sorry. Previous seasons they weren't really highly rated, but for this game they are overpowered, and United, who previously used to be overpowered, it was really easy to win with United in older versions of this game, but now they seem to be just weak for some reason. They always have low aggression and low bits of leadership, basically. Not really anyone who's a stand-up leader. Even Ibrahimovic doesn't have crazy leadership stats or attributes. But anyways, there's a nice little intro here. Arsenal playing the same formation as we are. Dybala has been their incredible striker so far this season. I mentioned if you're looking for a striker, he's the best player to buy, because he's got great potential as well as already has great ability. He's just a really great striker. He's a complete forward, so you can play him in a number of different roles if you don't want to play him as a complete forward. But Arsenal are just a crazy team, and they are going to get the chance by the looks of it here. Blind does deal with it well, but also manages to bring it down anyways. And he's going to find Xhaka in the middle of the midfield, basically. Middle of the midfield. But anyways, De Gea is going to clear it now, and he plays it straight to Marshall. And Mata is going to have a chance to just let us get our shape a little bit. Mario Fernandes is going to bring it forward. He should find Mkhitaryan, but instead he loses out to Alexis Sanchez. Mkhitaryan does well to win it back there, and now we just have to show some... I was going to say some smart piece of play because we were losing the ball, but Pogba's just gone for a long shot there, and why not? I mean, he's scored a couple of decent long shots so far this season. I've showed you a number of them. in previous episodes as well. So you have to let your players express themselves a little bit, and the highlight's still going on anyway, so we might still have another chance in. Mkhitaryan almost played a beautiful ball through to Marshall. Rashford almost could have brought that down and ran through, but instead he headed it down and lost it, and then he again lost it out to Bellerin. So we are doing quite poorly in terms of possession, and it shows here in the stats as well. And Ozil's going to have a chance to play someone through, but instead Smalling cuts out the pass through Dybala, and Marshall's going to have a chance to run at defenders here. And that was poor, but Rashford's going to get another chance, and he manages to score, and that's just a great mix-up from Arsenal. We'll take that. Great goal from Rashford. Great to just be hunting that really here. Some players wouldn't have closed that down. We're going to get another chance to look at it here, but it's just a mess from the Arsenal defence as well as goalkeeper. Koscielny a bit unfortunately that it just bounces off him. It looks like he's not even aware of what's going on, but we'll take it. It's a 1-0 win, 1-0 lead. I'm getting a bit ahead of myself, but hopefully this can spur my team on to perform a little bit better now, and there is going to be another highlight, and hopefully it will go our way as well. Paul Pogba going to have the chance to play Rashford, and who finds Marshall. Marshall's going to run all the way, gets past everyone. That is quite the save from Cech, but really Marshall giving giving Cech the chance to deal with that quite easily. If I'm honest, he should have placed it in the other corner, but instead he's going to have a second chance to make amends, and he does, and that is an incredible goal. It's exactly what we needed. Now we've got a 2-0 lead. We just have to maintain this type of performance, and it's great. I'm happy we're finally going to manage to beat Arsenal. I think this is going to be the first game. Well, actually, if it does end 2-0, it might not end. I'm getting a bit ahead of myself again. But if we do manage to beat Arsenal, I think this will be the first time in my 2 seasons in charge of United to have beaten Arsenal and Arsene Wenger. So that's going to be quite incredible. And Pogba scored our third, and in 20 minutes we've managed to completely destroy the champions, who might be a bit complacent, but we are at home, so this is just a great performance really. I don't see us conceding 3, but you never really know in this FM17. Just a great deflection off Koscielny. Again, he's just been really unfortunate. I'm guessing his ratings are probably really poor. I was going to show you quickly here, but we are going to have a chance to set piece, and Rashford makes it 4, and Arsenal are sinking without a trace. I will take this any day of the week, really. Past few episodes have been a bit disappointing. All you guys have been seeing is me basically losing loss after loss after loss, and I'm just glad that you guys get to see a little bit of a win here. Let's see if we can have a quick look at the Arsenal stats. So Koscielny, it does have a terrible rating with a 6.2. It looks like we might have a chance for a 5th. Mata's going to get a chance to put this back into the box, but he plays it out wide to Mkhitaryan, who will, well, he should have crossed that in, but Ozil does incredibly well to defend there and win it back for his team. Mario Fernandes with a chance to bring the ball forward here, though. He finds Mkhitaryan, who almost played Mata through. That would have been a really lovely piece of play. I do actually want to tell you guys about the rest of my tactics. Pogba does really well to find Rashford there. He makes it 5. This is just, I actually can't believe we're destroying them like this. Yeah, but as you guys can tell, throughout the seasons I've been moving away. I've been slowly shifting my tactics, and the reason being is that I want to eventually be playing a 4-2-3-1 with a centre mid on defend duty, a deep lying playmaker on support, an advanced playmaker on attack duty, and 2 wingers. I'm not really a fan of playing inside forwards when you play a 4-2-3-1. I feel like they get into the advanced playmakers area. They really, it's sort of just, they get into each other's space essentially, and so I'd rather play with wingers, because we need wingers as a top team. We need to be stretching the play as much as possible, just because the smaller teams, or so-called smaller teams, like to defend deep and narrow. So we need wingers rather than inside forwards, and I want to play with an advanced forward as my striker, which I've done with the Marshall, and we'll be doing with Wilson when he comes back from his loan spell next season. Anyways, we are winning, so there's not really a need to really do anything crazy. Rashford getting a hat-trick, he's just been incredible in that left wing position. I definitely have to keep him on there for next season. He's just outscored everyone. I think he's our top scorer in the team. Just going to make a couple of changes for the sake of resting a few players. We do have a big game against Chelsea in the next, well, yeah, it is the next game, sorry. So we do need to win that game to climb up the table. This win helps us go above Chelsea, and if we win the next game, we'll definitely put some space between us and Chelsea for sure, which means we'll get an automatic qualification spot, which is what I'm looking for. I really don't want to be qualifying through the legs or whatever. I just want to go straight into the group stage. I don't want that early pre-season going on, and yeah, as you can tell, we've scored 5 against Arsenal on the standard mentality. So your mentality, that's why I love starting with standard mentality, because you can judge how the game's going on and switch accordingly. Alexis Sanchez has probably the best chance of the Arsenal team so far. I don't think we've really seen the highlight go their way at all, and that was a decent shot, but De Gea's dealt with it and Lingard loses out, but we win it back, and Martial's going to get a chance to run at the defenders here, and he just actually thought that was going to creep into the top near post corner sort of thing. But instead it's just hit the side netting, and we're running down the clock really. Some of my players are really... Oh, actually that's the Arsenal team. I was going to say, since when did we buy Bellerin? But yeah, it's the same thing for my team really. A lot of them are getting tired now, but there's only 5 minutes left of the game. Incredible first half, pretty much ended the game for us, and we will get the first yellow card of the game. As you can see, Arsenal have had a number of shots, you know, pretty much close to us as well, but we've just had the much better clear-cut chances as well as half chances. So that's why I'm sort of reluctant to change my tactics, because it's been working. As you can see, we've had a number of clear-cut chances. Our issue is with finishing rather than actual creating chances. So I'm tempted to stick with the same roles and duties. You guys let me know in the comment section what you think, whether I should switch it around a little bit or not. Paul Pogba's seeming to really getting used to that role of playing as a roaming playmaker. He's really getting into it now. Last season he hardly had a shot on goal, but he's managed to score a number of goals here as well as a number of assists. So I'm tempted to play with 3 playmakers. It seems to be working for us, and I think we just a little bit of improvements. If we have a Verratti, Pogba and Mata midfield, that's just going to be incredible. I mean, I think we'll be able to beat anyone really, and Martial should be coming into his own in the striker position. As you can see, we did climb the table, 67 points, 3 away from West Ham. I'm not sure how they did. They actually lost their game against City, so that's a great win for us, because City we would have been ahead of them because of our goal difference. We do have the best goal difference in the league. Really, we're just quite unfortunate not to be leading the league. But I feel like next season will be much more experienced. I think next season will be our season. I wasn't expecting too much from my team this year, other than to get into the top 4. I was hoping we could get the league, but I knew my team weren't quite ready. There's still a bit of adjusting to do, moving around. And we're not too far from Arsenal compared to last season, where Arsenal won the league by 15 points. In terms of when we'll be back, I don't think this episode will be a double-header. I don't really like episodes being too long. We'll play Chelsea without, we won't make a live comment of that. Instead, I'll probably show you the last game of the season, or maybe even just show you through preseason what I do through preseason, how I identify targets, who I buy and all that sort of stuff. But it's most likely just to be the last game of the season, which is what I'm going to show you, just to give you a quick update of how it's gone. You never know how these games will end. We should be winning against Leicester, Norwich and Southampton, but really the league is just too unpredictable. The game against Chelsea is a huge game. We need to put some gap between us, and we'll see how it goes. In terms of our best performance so far this season, so appearance-wise, David De Gea, of course, making the most appearances. Rashford's just been too incredible. Depay's hardly had a game, basically. He's had 7 starts and 13 appearances off the bench, and because of that, he hasn't really improved as a player. He's still only a decent player for most Premier Division sides, apparently, but he does have the potential to still be a leading Premier Division player. Whenever I've given him a chance to play, he hasn't really played that well. 6.6 average rate in his form rating and 6.92 overall rating. So Rashford's the one who's just made that position his own, even though he's younger. But he is considered a wonder kid. He's still 20, so he's more than capable of being a world-class talent. In terms of goals, again, Rashford and Martial, both the youngsters, both getting the most amount of goals. In terms of assists, who's leading is Mkhitaryan. He's actually beaten Mata's record of 13 assists last season. I'm really pleased with Mkhitaryan. He's gotten double digits for both the goals and assists. But overall average rating, Mario Fernandes, by far the best player. Actually, not really by far, but he has played really well whenever he's come for us. He just does the wing-back role much better than Darmian does, even though Darmian have incredible form, really. But Mario Fernandes just brings something different to the team. He managed 8 assists and 1 goal. And as you can see, Darmian hasn't managed either of the stats, so that just shows you the type of thing he does. Darmian's just better as a defender, but Mario Fernandes gives us that attacking side of the game that we need from that slot. It looks like both our fullbacks have actually done really well. In terms of our defenders, first 4 players are all defenders, so that pretty much shows you how great we've been in terms of conceding goals, despite a lot of these players being considered only good players for the Premier Division sides. They're not really considered. I think Smalling's the only one who's been considered the leading player for most divisions now. So that shows that it's not all about ability. It's more about the team getting used to each other, as well as sometimes a bit of the tactic as well as the rules. But anyways, I think that'll be the end of the episode. So if you enjoyed the episode, do please hit the like button as well, subscribe, and as always, thank you for watching. That'll be all, guys.